Jai Shri Ram. In the last Ramayana episode, we have seen the birth of four princes. Now, in this episode number 2, we are going to cover the slaying of Tadaka. As the four princes attained adolescence, King Dasharatha decided that the time was right for them to be sent to his guru, the noble sage Vasishtha, for their formal education. They were sent to the sage and were quick to learn, and had soon mastered in all the Vedas, and had complete knowledge in the administration of a kingdom and in the other disciplines required for a prince. They learned the law of the land governed the same and passed verdicts. The sage was very happy as they assimilated all their knowledge quickly and was very pleased at their natural tendency towards good and just. The four princes spent all their time and meditation, which makes their intellect grow sharper. Their education was coming to an end, and soon it was the right time for them to be returned to the palace. They bowed down to touch the feet of their guru and get their blessings. After blessing him, he advised the four princes to put his teachings to practice and bring glory to his dynasty, kingdom, and his ancestors. Meanwhile, the great sage Vasishtha had sent a word to the palace asking the king to send his courtier to escort the young prince. The king sent his wisest and most trusted minister to fetch them, Sumantra. He also sent with him four of his finest royal robes for the prince to wear. As soon as Sumanta reached the ashram of the great sage Vasishtha, he bowed down to touch the feet of him, and after blessing him, the great sage Vasishtha inquired about the welfare of the king, queens, and their subjects. Then he sent for the four princes. The four princes donned their royal robes, crowns, and jewelries. Before mounting the golden chariot, they looked in the direction of the ashram out of respect. Though they were sad to leave that place that had been second home for them for many years, but they controlled their emotion just as their wise guru had taught them. Then Sumantra led the procession back to the palace in the golden chariot, befitting the sons of Dashratha. The horse driving the chariot were the swiftest and the finest, and soon the four princes neared the gates of the city of Ayodhya. The people of Ayodhya were gathered to witness the arrival of the four princes. There was celebration everywhere and the entire city was decorated. The people from all across the kingdom had come to welcome the four princes. The four princes were very elated at this grand welcome. They realized that it was an end of an important phase in the prince's life and the beginning of the new one, which will lead them into their adult life. When the procession was led to the palace, the four princes made their way towards their mothers and father. They bowed down to touch the feet of their mothers. After blessing him, with tears of joy in their eyes, they embraced their son for the first time in many years. Then they proceeded towards their father. They bowed down to touch the feet of their father and get their blessings. The king's joy knew no bound when he saw that his four beloved sons were became such a fine young man. After some time, Ram was declared as the crown prince of Ayodhya, and he led his brothers in the matter of state and government. The king's chest swelled with pride as he saw his four princes display their skills and solving the matters of state and government. He was a just and wise king as his grandfather and was very elated at this welcome. When the king was set on his throne, thinking that the arrival of the great sage Vishwamitra was announced. As the sage entered in the palace, the king arose to greet him. He bowed down to touch the feet of his guru and get his blessings. After blessing him, the sage was very pleased and he sat down to speak with him and said, I have been trying to perform a yagna in the Dandak one, But when unsuccessful, as two demons called Marich and Subhau are ruining the yagna by throwing blood and bones in the sacrificial fire of that yagna. I want your eldest of son Rama to fight with the demons to kill them and help me to perform my yagna. The king was very afraid to send Ram to the forest, but another wise and noble sage called Vashishta reassured that not just Ram but also sent Lakshman with him. He assured that the great sage Vishwamitra is quite capable for protecting the two princes with his supernatural powers, and the two princes will be safe with him. At last, the king gave permission, and the two princes accompanied the great sage Vishwamitra in the Dandak one. The great sage Vishwamitra warned the two Radu princes that the demons called Marich, Subhau, and Tadaka were living deep in the forest, and that no one dared to enter. The entire forest had become wilderness because of the dreadful demons and their horrendous deeds. He also added that Tadaka, the she-demon, possessed the strength of 1,000 elephants, and he liked to kill and eat people. Killing her is the only way to make this Dandak one safe for the sages and people to live in once again. After listening what the great sage Vishwamitra had tell very carefully, Rama twanged his bow into the forest, making a dreadful noise to afraid Tadaka and make her appear. When Tadaka heard this sound, she was very enraged that who had disturbed her from her sleep. She wanted to kill that person who had disturbed her in her own abode. She came forward towards Rama. A great battle ensued. The demoness was truly very powerful and strong and put up a great fight. But his skills were no match to the fighting skills of the two Raghu princes. Finally, Rama mounted a bow into his arrow and straight right up to his chest, felling her dead. The ugly demoness fell on the forest, making a dreadful noise. There were cheers from everyone in the Devas in heaven as they have witnessed the fight from the beginning. The great sage Vishwamitra was also amazed by the fighting skills of the two Raghu princes and embraced them and was proud that they have been victorious. I hope you found this Ramayana episode number 2, The Slaying of Tadaka, very informative. Jai Shri Ram.